Good evening, everyone. Already, as you know, we are delayed. And let me start first that it is both a privilege and honor for me to speak today in remembrance of one of the internationally renowned and educationist Professor Moonis Raza, a towering figure in Indian geography and a visionary academic and the co-founder and along with the Professor G. Parsarthi. He was the founder of and chairman of the Center for the Study of Regional Development, CSRD, as you know, and at Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. And he had been the Vice Chancellor of Delhi University during 1985 and 90. And the Professor Raza also landscaping of this, Jawaharlal Nehru University. He had been as an architect for the planning of that particular campus of JNU. Professor Raza was not merely a geographer. Basically, he was man of the geographical thoughts and ideas and planner for the futures and the cultivator of intellectual landscapes. His pioneering contribution to the concept of regional development laid the foundation of generation and scholarship and policy thinking in India as well as at international level also. He understood that geography was not just about terrain, not about topographical explanation, and it was about people, potential, and planning. As we have been talking about all these legendary and all these senior geographers today, Professor A.B. Mukherjee, and Professor Moonis Raza, and Professor Ajazuddin Ahmed. And Professor Raza's legacy also lies, as we see, in the very soil and structure of JNU. I had been a scholar in Jawaharlal Nehru University during 82-84, and I interacted with him for some time when he was staying just near to this particular hostel known as Periyar Hostel. That time, my friend, he was staying there, Mr. Mumtaz Khan, and one of the fellow, Mr. Nanlalji Gujar. He was also from Bhilwara, Rajasthan, and we met him several times that time. I am very much thankful to all the organizers and the executive members who provided this opportunity to chair this memorial lecture. And now, because as the time stands, we have a limited span of time, so I invite Professor Pathak, Pushpa Pathak, and so she will deliver a talk here. And Professor Pathak, Professor Emeritus in the Center for Policy Research in New Delhi, and Senior Visiting Fellow at the same center and experienced in particular field of urban development. She served at NUA Institute, National Institute of Urban Affairs, New Delhi also, and got international exposure, and she visited several countries in this field, and she delivered talks also. So I invite her, and Professor Pathak, please come in.
Good afternoon. I know you are very tired at the end of a very long day, but I do hope the lecture would be worth your time and weight that you have put through. Honorable Chairperson, Professor Vyas, Professor D.K. Nayak, President IIG, Professor Panwar, Head of the Department of Geography, H.N.B.Garhwal University, distinguished professors, students, friends. I am both humbled and honored to be giving the first Moonis Raza Memorial Lecture being organized by IIG. when my fellow student from CSRD, Professor Sachidanand Sinha, fondly called Sachi by his colleagues and friends, invited me to give this lecture, my first response was, how can I speak about such a great personality and one of the most revered professors of my time, like Moonis Sahib? Sachi convinced me soon by saying that, quotes, you are the best person to deliver this lecture as you have not limited yourself to the field of geography and regional development, but delved into such a broad range of professional pursuits, something Moonis Sahib himself did and encouraged his students to do so. So, today I am privileged to be speaking in the presence of some of the most respected professors of geography in India, as well as the students who are also here. I do hope I will get to know you during the course of the TEAS two-day conference. Moonis Sahib, called Moonis Sahib by most people, including his students, needs no introduction. But it will be fitting to give a brief account of his academic background and prominent professional positions he held to give you an idea of the kind of multifaceted administrator, scholar, geographer, regional planner, and an intellectual he was. He was educated as a geographer at Aligarh Muslim University, where he started working as a lecturer. Subsequently, he held several important positions. Professor Vyas has already listed some of those positions, so I will mention only 3 positions for the time being. He was the principal of Regional Engineering College, Srinagar. He was the founding chairman of Center for the Study of Regional Development at Jawaharlal Nehru University, where I studied. And he was director of the National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration. Also, he was Vice Chancellor of Delhi University, amongst others. But Moonis Sahib's most ambitious and challenging project was setting up Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. After considerable debate in the winter session of the Parliament in 1965, 1 year after Prime Minister Nehru's sad demise, it was decided that a new university should be set up to represent some of his ideals, including secularism and cosmopolitanism, social justice and scientific temper, international affairs, and world peace. Debate and dialogue and criticality were to be integral to the ethos of the university. It took a great deal of imagination, deliberations, and considerations that go into setting up a national university of international repute. After 2 years, Moonis Sahib was able to establish JNU in 1969, jointly with G. Parthasarathi, educationist, a diplomat, and who also became the first Vice Chancellor of the university. JNU was first housed in the campus of the Indian School of International Studies, established in 1955. In 1970, it was merged with JNU and renamed the School of International Studies. It was known as the Old Campus located at the intersection of the Outer Ring Road and Mehrauli Road in South Delhi. Construction of the permanent campus, known at the time as the new campus, in the vast rocky Aravalli Hills started in 1970. The university hostels and some of the schools shifted to the new campus in 1976 when I joined JNU. When I joined JNU in 1977, CSRD was in the old campus and our hostels were in the new campus, and there was a shuttle bus service which used to take us up and down. I have been told by my fellow students who joined JNU soon after it was set up, that was earlier than me. University was at old campus. Various schools, classrooms, faculty housing, and student hostels were in the same blocks. Everyone ate in the same mess. The campus atmosphere was very informal and friendly. Moonis Sahab took pains to be personally involved in the design of the new campus, including naming of each hostel after rivers of India as a symbol of national representation and integration. He was a great listener and followed a very consultative approach to taking these decisions, small or big. For example, I have been told he spent hours convincing students how a common mess for girls and boys was not feasible when the hostels in the new campus would be separate for them. And keeping in mind the conventions prevalent at the time and the linguistic and cultural diversity of students who would come from various parts of the country, it was not possible. He continued this tradition of direct interface with the students when he was the rector of JNU to resolve most difficult issues that are common to come up in any university. Moonis Sahab has left behind a vast body of published work. I would put it into 6 broad categories. First, geography, including geographical thought and atlases. Second, regional development. Third, transport geography. Fourth, social geography. Fifth, area studies, such as Kashmir and Ladakh, and higher education planning and crisis. Now, let me start with my own journey of initially being a geographer to becoming a multidisciplinary professional that I am today, and how being a student of Moonis Sahab had truly broadened my academic perspective. Growing up at the sprawling campus of Kanpur Agriculture College in the 1960s, now renamed Chandrasekhar Azad University of Agriculture and Technology, where my father, Dr. Gorakhnath Pathak, was a professor of botany and agricultural science. My world was limited to protected spaces of our home, neighborhood, and school, which was pretty normal for young girls those days. My interaction with the outer sphere was mostly through newspapers and books. I remember very well, I had a school atlas of India that showed the whole world with continents, countries, and cities with strange names in vivid colors. I used to stare at the maps and daydream that someday I will see these places. Mind you, out of 195 countries, I think I have been to 1/3 of them. I have still a lot more to do. No wonder I opted to study geography for my BA and MA as a way of knowing the world we live in. So I joined PhD program in Geography Department of BHU. The head of the department, Professor R.L. Singh, was well known for his work on settlement geography, urban geography, who steered the department to venture into new dimensions of geography, including applied geography and resources and regional planning. My esteemed advisor, Professor Kashinath Singh, specialized in the study of rural settlements, historical geography, planning, economic geography, and social geography. In 1975, I had to leave BHU and move to Cambridge University due to family compulsions. There, I joined the postgraduate research program in the geography department. I was affiliated with the King's College of the university. My advisor was a great academic, B.H. Farmer, popularly known as Benny Farmer, reader in the Department of Geography and director of the South Asian Studies. In 1977, I had to return to India, again for personal reasons. I headed straight to CSRD JNU New Delhi and knocked at Professor G.S. Bhalla's office door, as I was fortunate to have met him socially 2 years ago. He was well known as an agricultural economist, also interested in areas such as poverty and national development. He advised me to apply for a PhD program at the center the same year to continue my studies. I was admitted at the center as a direct PhD student. The year I studied at Cambridge University made me eligible to get a waiver for doing a 2-year MPhil. Amongst the admission interview panel was Professor G.S. Bhalla and Professor Moonis Raza. This is the first time I met Moonis Sahab and was totally taken in by his deeply intellectual, charismatic, and not at all intimidating personality. Later on, I attended his lectures, particularly on elements of regional structure in India and levels of regional development in India. I also heard him speak at seminars, and I was truly impressed by the breadth of his knowledge and a broad vision of development he had. He was very open and friendly with the students. He listened, pushed us to think out of the box, and encouraged us to chart our own path. His house in the campus at 1 Dakshinapuram had an open door for the students and professors alike, and often it would become a place for lively debates with tea and snacks on all kinds of issues, in addition to academic ideas ranging from problems on the campus to international affairs. Moonis Sahab played a key role in shaping my doctoral research on rural-urban linkages and regional development. With my deepest gratitude and respect, I would like to note that my thesis advisors, Professor Ejazuddin Ahmed, a reputed social geographer, and Professor G.K. Chadha, a well-known economist, encouraged me to conduct doctoral research in a wider interdisciplinary framework. I would also like to mention other professors who were a part of my learning journey at JNU, especially Professor Atya Habib Kidwai, Professor M.H. Qureshi, Professor M.K. Premi, Professor Amitabh Kundu, Professor Shivanand Swami, Professor Harjeet Singh, and Professor Sukhdev Thorat. After I completed my PhD at JNU, I started working in 1982 at the National Institute of Urban Affairs, New Delhi, I worked there for 17 years and worked on a very wide range of urban themes. In 1999, I left NIUA and I went to the World Bank Water and Sanitation Program, New Delhi. So I got an opportunity to work as an urban advisor in Afghanistan. So that was my journey. But now let's turn to the two ideas, two themes of the lecture. You thought I was only going to talk about myself, but that's not it. The two themes are blurring of spaces, blurring geography beyond boundaries, and the second one is Professor Raza's law of ignorance. So let me go to the blurring idea first. The core of geography is widely accepted to be concerned with space, place, and scale, as well as spatial distribution and interaction between a wide-ranging phenomenon relating to development. Geography includes, as I understand, and I think it's commonly accepted, four broad traditions, including spatial tradition, earth science tradition, human land tradition, and area studies, also known as regional geography. Moonis Sahab believed that the realm of geography is much larger than mere spatial analysis of occurrences, as was popularly believed. He saw man-nature interaction as being central in the critical role of geography in unifying the knowledge split into natural and social sciences to build an ecological perspective of development. It shows Moonis Sahab saw blurring of boundaries between geography and other disciplines as early as in 1980s, much before it became a common parlance of the day. Secondly, in the same article that I have mentioned before, Moonis Sahab saw no contradiction between development and ecology. He recommended following an ecosystem approach based on rational use of natural resources, conservation, protection, and improvement of environment for faster socio-economic development without damaging the ecology. Such an approach seems very familiar today, but was not widely accepted, particularly as many newly developing countries in the developing world aspired to attain rapid growth in the 60s and 70s. Further, he perceived regional development as eco-development with differentiated unity between man and nature. Nature being the bottom line, as nature can exist without man, but man's interaction and humanization of nature is essential for development. Therefore, it is not surprising that Moonis Sahab became an early votary of sustainability. Much before the time, talking of climate change became fashionable. खत्म हो रहा है 10 मिनट और देंगे अच्छा okay so now I will go to Moonis Sahab's law of ignorance. Moonis Sahab's student would often refer to Raza's law of ignorance, defined as the ratio of known to unknown always remains constant. Interpreted simply, implies more you learn about known, more you know, the more you have to learn about unknowns. So Moonis Sahab's theory of known-unknown has to be understood within the framework of the agency of knowledge, as knowledge both reflects social transformation and informs it. I am skipping certain sections and going to looking at geography beyond boundaries. First, geography as a discipline is still evolving, like mighty Himalayas where we are today. While geography was growing and new areas of study were being added in the 20th century, the 21st century has seen shrinking of space of geography as a standalone discipline. In 2016, 120 of the 750 Indian universities had geography departments. Geography as a field is evolving and morphing into more technological fields, including remote sensing, GIS, and geoinformatics, that are based on spatial analysis, but only about half of these technological fields are linked to geography departments of any university system. Second, if we look around us, we see blurring of rigid boundaries in social science research and teaching in many ways, which are both encouraging as the knowledge sphere is expanding by this new morphing, and it also presents new analytical as well as practical challenges. For instance, blurring of boundaries between rural and urban areas. How do we govern and serve spaces that have no fixed address or boundaries? Second, blurring of boundaries between physical and digital spaces. Due to digital technology advancement, economic activities and services don't have to co-locate in the same spaces. For instance, distance learning, remote working, online sale, platform economy make us question the relevance of older location theories. Education continues to be important for the progress of humankind, as Moonis Sahab's work has underscored. But what kind of education is relevant in the present age? What do we know and what do we not know about new technological developments such as artificial intelligence? Will determine to a large extent what kind of urban, regional research and teaching we need to do that will embrace and explain these changes. We certainly need to revisit the curriculum of geography and regional development, linking it to newer technological narrative of remote sensing, GIS, geoinformatics, as well as cross-cutting themes like gender, persistent inequalities, and climate change. Last para, Chairman Sahab. Finally, such blurring of spaces and processes compel us to think anew and realize that we need to develop new theoretical frameworks to better understand how the society around us is evolving, where people are choosing to live and work, and how they are engaging with each other. Are the new technologies making people more proactive or getting more alienated and confined in their closed spaces with world on their fingertips, but silence all around them? Thank you, Chairman Sahab, ladies and gentlemen, for patiently listening to me. Have a good night.